Oh, hello there, sinner. The tea is literally scalding. Ow. This is my owl mug that I got from somewhere. Ooh, that's delicious. Anyhow, hi, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, well, you're here now and that's entirely your problem. What are we here to do today?
Great question, nobody.
About a week ago, I posted a Google form for my audience, both here and on Twitter, to fill out, leaving me your confessions, your deep dark secrets, perhaps things you don't share with other people at all, and maybe things nobody else knows, for me to just kind of roast you for all of these atrocities that you have now made my mental burden. Credit where credit is due, of course. I got this video idea. This is not really a new concept, but I have watched Alex Weiss or A-Dubs do this video as a concept for I think a couple years now. She's been doing it and it's so fun to watch and also occasionally very disturbing. But I always kind of thought, like, well, what would these look like coming from my audience? If you've never seen Alex do these, I've linked her channel below. I imagine most of you have. She's got a pretty large channel. But I wanted to see what my audience would say and what kind of secrets you motherfuckers have. So I got them, and you all have some secrets. Holy shit. I can't get to all of them today. I'm gonna try to get to a lot of them. And if you guys like this, we'll do another one. So if you don't hear yours today and you were like, God, I really wish that really personal, terrible thing would have gotten roasted in that video by that weird lady, you may have another chance. I just like to let it steep the entire time I drink it. So let's get started, shall we? I have a big fat lesbian crush on one of my friends. She's so beautiful and soft and funny and just so lovely and marvelous. That's a lot of ands, just like use commas. And I just love her so much. I wish I could tell her, but I know she doesn't think about me that way and I don't want to ruin our friendship. Plus she has a boyfriend. Oof, that's brutal. That's like the unrequited love shit that people write about. I'm sorry that you're going through that. But I trust that one day you will come across another person that will make you feel the same way and they will return those feelings. And then you wouldn't have ruined potentially ruined a friendship with a friend, either by telling that friend that you like them and them being like weirded out by that, not because of sexuality but just because of the bounds of friendship, and then or having dated them and have it not work out and then not having her as a friend at all, so just give it time. It's hard. I mean, there's no easy answer there. You could always just frame her boyfriend for some like major crime and then he goes to jail. Don't do that. That was a joke. Please don't do that. I'm in a relationship that I've been in for nearly 3 years now. I love him. He says he feels the same. My family loves him. His family likes me, as far as I know. We both have a pretty healthy relationship. There's a lot of commas in this one. See, the last one had a lot of ands and no commas. This one just has a lot of commas. Just observations, not really criticism. But one big point of contention we aren't past, but that he sees as a non-issue, is if I'm not a Christian, he says he'll dump me, basically without hesitation, and I don't really think I'm a Christian anymore. I don't know how to approach the topic without risking losing him. I love him, and even my niece and nephews consider him family. He has a key to my parents' house. Just the thought of him leaving me made me almost start sobbing. Anyways, I don't know how to end this. I'm trying to stay positive and work out what I actually believe before I risk it. But it's hard when everyone I know is friends with him and through church, and I want a wider perspective and one that won't get back to him since I know so many of them are gossips. But anyway, I hope you're doing well and enjoying all the tea people have to be spilling in this thing, lol. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. If you're already in the headspace where like you want to explore other avenues, if you want to explore different religions or just being non-theistic in general, you're always going to feel unfulfilled in a big chunk of your life, even if you two get married, and it's going to build like a level of resentment that you're not going to be able to resolve. So I would say break it off, honestly. That's what I would do. It's not, I know that's an easier said than done, especially when after a certain amount of time your lives begin to get completely intertwined, where there is no real separation of church and state, if you will. I played with dolls and soft toys all the way until I was 14. At 21, I still kind of miss it. Honestly, what you do in the privacy of your own home is none of my business. If that's what fulfills you, we'll see you on a TLC special in the next 5 years, probably. I love my partner so much, but I'm also kind of young and want to leave them just to experience life on my own. But I can't because I'm not financially stable enough to do so. Not sure if I would leave even if I was able to. That's concerning. There's a lot of confessions in here that are related to like, I want to leave my relationship, or like I don't love my partner, or I love my partner but I want to leave. Here's the thing. If you're young and you want to leave your partner, leave your partner. If you're not financially stable enough to do so, you're staying because you need to. I know you say you're not sure if you would leave even if you were able to, but like if you were able to, if you were financially stable, you would. I think you would. I don't know you. I don't know who's posting this, but like I feel like you would. From experience, being financially tied to somebody and being financially dependent on somebody is really hard, and it makes it really hard to leave. Again, I feel like this is something that if you don't address now is going to end up being something you resent them for later. I'm not in love with my husband. I'm in love with my best friend, but she doesn't love me. He was just next best. Oof. I don't even have advice for that one. Well, I do have advice for leave your husband. Leave. Like, leave. Because first of all, you're not doing yourself any good, and you're also not doing him any good if he's in a marriage that he doesn't maybe realize is not reciprocal. Also, like, my hairline is receding. Like, do you see that? I see that. Don't worry, I see it too. I knew you were gonna comment about it. It's fine. As a very young adult, I worked at a fast food establishment, and I used to shame customers if they requested a side of mayonnaise with their french fries. I regret nothing because that shit was gross AF. You're gross AF, okay? You are gross as fuck. Because mayonnaise on french fries is terribly Canadian, and it is delicious, okay? Eat carbs. I hooked up with someone who worked for my dad. He asked if we could take our relationship further, and I said no, so he went ahead and quit his job. It's been 6 years and my dad still talks about losing a great employee and wonders why he quit so abruptly. I played Bloody Mary when I was about 8 years old, and then Michael Jackson died, and I thought I killed Michael Jackson for years. It made watching his trial very awkward. I think watching his trial was just awkward in general, but that is fucking funny. Imagine playing Bloody Mary and then you think you killed Michael Jackson. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Maybe you did kill Michael Jackson. I was high for my entire last family vacation. There was so much less stress. That's so wholesome. I love it. In middle school, I was maybe 13 or 14. I was at my friend's house and she had 2 older sisters, but one of the older sisters was just a bitch, and not even in a fun way. I can look back on to be like, she had it all figured out. No, she was like 15 or 16 throwing temper tantrums because she wanted her parents to buy her cigarettes. But neither wanted to go to the store, which happened while I was staying the night, no less. Now, I've had migraines ever since puberty first gripped me and its clawed grab. This is such a beautifully, eloquently written secret. And they had me on all these vitamin supplements, one of which being B12. And if you've ever taken it, you probably know it turns your piss neon yellow. My friend's bitchy sister, was bothering me and my friend. And somehow I got to the topic of my meds and I told her that I was a part of a study group being given a more experimental medication derived from a poison that in small doses can raise your immunity to it as well as lessen pain in people with migraines. And she didn't believe me, but I had a goal in mind. It sounds like you have a lot of goals in mind. I once ate dog kibble, just one piece. It wasn't the worst, but I would never do it again. To mess with this girl, so I wanted her to deal with the unpleasant end, right? With the unpleasant end, right? My goal was to convince her she was gonna die, and she was always one for dares or just being contrary and causing issues. I told her that I'd know if my dose was too high because my pee would be like neon yellow, and I'd know it was too late. So she goes, okay, bet, and takes one. And this is just a vitamin. And like not even an hour later, she comes bursting out of the bathroom frantic and on the verge of tears saying, I'm gonna die. And I don't remember if I even played into it further or came clean, but that terror was worth it. And it probably made her healthier. It's 10 years later, and my biggest paranoid delusion is that I will be poisoned and slowly killed. And I think that's entirely coincidence because my schizophrenia didn't start until a few years after that. But maybe it's retribution for the only prank I've ever pulled. I say this jokingly. I know it's just how things happen to be. Wow. That was verbose and well-written and a fucking roller coaster. When I was a freshman in college at the age of 18, just a ripe young church girl, desperate for any amount of male attention after having no father figure and committing myself to purity until marriage. Don't count as fucking if you're just sucking. That's merch. I began messing around with my friend, who happened to also be messing around with my roommate. Now, did I know this? Yes. Did it stop me? No. For the aforementioned reasons. Yeah, please, dear Sajak, do not think of me as a harlot. No, it wasn't malicious. It was delusional. I thought I was going to marry this 24-year-old mama's boy with a bad lisp who was spreading his wild oats far more than should be allowed for a man working to obtain his pastoral license. I'll cut to the chase here. When my roommate found out and we cried together. I'm telling you, it wasn't malicious. I was a little ball of trauma wearing blinders that only saw dicks. Can you imagine only seeing dick for a year straight and not even sitting on it, tickling it? You guys are word artists. Anyways, she made a blog post about the situation entitled "Lying Isn't Sexy" and dragged me to filth essentially. Was it deserved? Absolutely. This was one of life's lessons that has never left me. No stinky boy is more important than a friendship, and no amount of male attention will ever fill that pit inside your chest. One of my biggest regrets is not getting to continue our friendship because of the desperate, insufferable little fool I was back then. Woof. Honestly, relatable. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I do feel like a lot of people experience at least something kind of similar between friends and a potential partner or just a sexual partner. But I don't know how long it's been since. Did you say, I don't know how old you are, so you said when you were in college. Look, here's my advice. If you are still feeling regretful that you haven't continued that relationship with that friend, see if you can contact them. Maybe you guys can fucking squash it and move forward, because you're right. No amount of dick or like no stinky boy is worth losing a friendship over. And I think given an amount of time, that I think your friend might also have come to that realization. And maybe y'all can like repair things. It's worth a shot. I only listen to your podcast for Nayli. She's so hot and cool and bitchy. Sounds like something Nayli would say, but okay. I have been in the wrong side of internet so long that I know way too much about obscure porn. I even made ultimate list of gay tentacle manga for someone a few weeks ago. Heavy. I wore metallic green or metallic blue pencil eyeliner in school. I thought it looked good. It didn't. I think we all can relate to that. Specifically me and the metallic eyeliner. We had some questionable makeup choices in the late 90s and early 2000s. I've created an entire alternate life in my head, complete with characters, my perfectly imperfect love interest, friends, and a fairly mundane story arc. We just sit around and kick it mostly. Sometimes we survive the apocalypse and expose corrupt celebrities. This started when I was about 10. I'm over 30 now. I'm fairly certain this is due to dissociation and trauma. I've legitimately never told anyone except a therapist who was like, okay, how are those breathing exercises working? Great, Kim. My fake boyfriend in my brain also has anxiety, and he really needed to learn some coping skills. Thumbs up emoji. Okay, I can relate to this. I have a whole life in here. Like, if you gave me a day where I had like no obligations, everything was done, my kids were, you know, elsewhere, and I could just sit here. I could live in my head for an entire day and be completely satisfied with that. So you're not alone. Like, that's not a crazy concept. I mean, maybe it is, but at least you're not alone. I will say the one thing I really liked about this secret, they said they have a perfectly imperfect love interest and a fairly mundane story arc. I love that because it's realistic, you know? It's still fantasy, but it's also like reality. It's not reality, it's purely fantasy, but it's a realistic fantasy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like none of the words I'm saying make sense anymore.
I am that bitch that smoked in the bathroom.
Okay, so was I. COVID has made me realize that I don't like the type of person my husband is. I am high risk, but he thinks wearing masks and social distancing is annoying and won't get vaccinated. We've been together for almost 20 years and have children. Hair in my eye. I truly loved everything about him until the world changed. He was my best friend. I don't know what to do. Fuck. That's a lot. Wow. I think we've all kind of accepted that like COVID isn't going anywhere. Like, it's gonna be here. And I could say that by the time the pandemic becomes endemic and we can go back to some semblance of normal life, that you can tuck those feelings away and it'll all blow over, and it'll be fine. But will it? Because now you know how he reacts to taking care of humanity. Like, for me, the easy answer would be like, well, leave his ass. But like, you've been together 20 years, you have kids, like, whew. I mean, that's not just like a difference in favorite films. That's a difference in morality and public safety, the safety of his family. That's heavy. That's heavy, man. I don't know what to tell you to do, but I'm sorry that you're going through that, and I hope whatever you decide to do, that your resolution is fruitful, and I wish you nothing but the best. I was a sub to a much older and married German man for almost a year. He was the best lover I've ever had. He was so emotionally caring, unlike anything I've ever experienced. I would have to follow rules, and one of them was to send him basically a diary entry every night about how my day and my feelings were. He came into my life at a very low point, and I swear he helped me more than an actual therapist. That's actually really interesting. Well, I think one of the finer points of like dom sub relationship that was missing in like 50 Shades of Grey, like there was a lot of shit missing in 50 Shades of Grey, but like one of the main things that was missing about the relationship between the characters in 50 Shades of Grey was that a dom and a sub need to have an immense amount of trust and communication, whereas what happens in 50 Shades of Grey is like abusive. So it makes sense that you felt cared for and all of that, because it takes a very specific amount of care and communication to have a dom sub relationship, from what I understand. So good for you. Worked in a movie theater that was truly rancid when I was 16 to 18. That's 2 years of working at a movie theater that was rancid. It's just proof that capitalism is garbage. One day our soda machine had been infested with ants for over a month, so we were told not to use it. The girl who cheated on me came in with her new girlfriend. They really wanted cherry Coke, which was only on that specific machine. When my supervisor told me we could use it, instead of correcting her, I served them a refreshing 48-ounce cup of fizzy cherry cola ants. Best day I had at that job. Gross and crunchy. How did they know? Like, did they come back and complain? I feel like you would know if you had ants in your soda. You know what I mean? Unless they were like the really tiny. I still feel like if they were the really tiny ones, you'd still know. That's like objects. That's small objects. That's gross. I mean, good on you, but gross. I need the catharsis of talking about this without any repercussions. Good. I was once so pissed off at my dad for a laundry list of things. A long story. And I had just gotten a kitten at this point. Well, he gave me a snarky comment while we were in the car. I just spit, gross. And while he went into a store, I stayed in the car with my kitten. He was getting a bit antsy, so I moved his seat all the way forward and set the kitten down on the floor of the car. Well, this kitten just squares up for a shit on the new car floor, and I let him. He shits on the carpeted floor of the car, and I only half picked it up with a bag, kind of smeared it on the carpet, actually. I tossed the kitten shit and picked up my little buddy. I then moved the seat back into position and it perfectly covered the stain. However, the smell was bad. Like ripe kitten shit bad. No, not like ripe kitten shit. That was ripe kitten shit bad. My dad complained for years about the smell and never found the source of it. We ended up giving the car to my brother and he still complains about the smell to this day. Here's my question. Great revenge on dad, by the way. But my question is this. Wouldn't your dad have smelled it immediately when he got back in the car? Like, wouldn't he have immediately been like, what the fuck is that smell? And like, if he had said that, wouldn't his instinct be to be like, oh, it's obviously, did you let the kitten shit in here? Is something wrong with the cat? I don't know, I feel like I'd be sussing it out. Because I feel like if you smelled it, you got back in the car, you went home, I feel like I would be looking for that smell like immediately. Especially if it was a new car. You know what I mean? I'm not doubting the validity of your secret. I'm just saying, like, maybe your dad's dumb. I like Gabby's music and I feel so bad about it. Don't feel bad about it. I like Gabby's music too. I think there are levels of like separating the art from the artist. You know what I mean? Like, people can be bad people. Just like in general, I'm just saying, like, people can be bad people and you can enjoy their work, you know? Maybe don't funnel their money, you know, their pockets with money. But like, you know, whatever. I actually really like Gabby's music. Most of it I really, really enjoy. I once snuck into a guy's room I liked in high school through the window and jerked off on his bed and stole his underwear, LMAO. Don't. I puked on my cat last September. I sort of wish that there was a story that went along with that, but I'm also kind of glad that there isn't because I feel like it's funnier that way. One time me and my fiance were out to eat and her food was disgusting, and rather than telling the waitress she didn't like the food, we took hair off my head and put it in the food. We tell the waitress, the manager then comes out and gives us all our food for free and a gift card, apologizes, and then the chef comes out and apologizes too. I felt so bad. You should feel bad. Great way to score an Applebee's gift card though, I guess. When I was 9, I got turned on by Barbie and Toy Story and it scared me. I recently came to terms with the fact that I'm bisexual, but I don't know if there's a point in coming out. I'm in a long-term relationship with my boyfriend, who I love and intend to marry, and my family is extremely LGBT phobic and would most likely shun me in some kind of way. Okay, here's what I'll say about that. As a bisexual woman myself, pansexual, queer, however you want to put it, however you like to say it, I like everybody. Nobody's excluded except assholes. And Republicans. Anyway, I recently came to terms with the fact that I'm bisexual. Okay, so you came to terms with the fact that you also like people of the same sex, right? Coming out is relative, right? Like, as someone who is part of the LGBTQ plus community, coming out is something that you're going to have to do a few times actually, throughout the course of your life, right? It's not one big, I'm gay, or I'm bi, or whatever the case may be. It's something that happens kind of again and again because it's part of your identity. It doesn't have to be your whole identity, but it's part of your identity. And if you feel like you're not telling your whole truth or you're not being completely authentic with people unless you tell them that you're bisexual, then it's good to tell them, you know. In terms of like your family shunning you, if you feel like you can't live your life truthfully without them knowing, then I say take the risk. But if you feel comfortable, if it's just for you, I mean, maybe keep it to yourself. There's no reason why you can't let your partner know that you're bisexual, you know? It does not invalidate your bisexuality being in a heteronormative looking relationship, right? It doesn't invalidate that about you. So if that's a part of you that you actually secretly want to embrace, I would start with your partner. If there's somebody you actually want to come out to, I would start with your partner, because that's giving them a deeper understanding of you and how you can make the most of your relationship. And it might give you the encouragement you need to come out to other people. Just a thought from one bye baby to another. Sometimes I think about my ex watching my husband and I have sex. Interesting. I want Deaf Noodles to sweep me off my feet to Hawaii and have a wedding like Trisha. Honestly, that's the dream right there. You gotta have Dennis come sweep you off your feet, take you to Hawaii, and you can have buttered noodles and pretend to be, I don't know, some kind of religion that Trisha hasn't hit yet. My basement has secrets. We're gonna do one more, and then we're gonna call it quits for this one. There are a bajillion more, so if you want more of these, let me know in the comments. One time when I was at university, I was sitting on my bed, which faced away from my door, with my headphones on while I was doing homework. I frequently left my door unlocked because it was a tiny school, less than 500 people, and I would always be locking myself out or losing my keys. I have ADHD, etc. So that's why. ADHD also sometimes makes me get a line from a movie/TV show, a bit from a song, or even a sound effect stuck in my head, even if I hadn't heard it in a long time. I didn't know that was an ADHD thing, because I'm on my own mental health journey. I don't have access to mental health, so I'm just trying to figure out like what happens in my brain. I have that too. I had it literally yesterday. I literally all day yesterday walked around with the phrase non-fungible tokens stuck in my head. And the only way I can get rid of it is by like saying it a bajillion times or hearing it a bajillion times. I didn't know that was an ADHD thing. I have no idea. I've always been that way. Anyway, sorry. Enough about me. Let's read your secret. So when I got one stuck in my head, I just have to say it out loud. Otherwise, it will be stuck there forever. Yeah, same. Anyway, I was sitting happily on my bed and didn't hear my friend open the door and say hi. He decided he would take advantage and scare me. Just as he was about to grab/startle me, I scared him instead by doing a pretty loud Elmo impression, saying, "Mr. Noodle!" I have not lived it down. Well, here's the thing about that. That's hilarious, first of all. And also, he had it coming. Don't try to scare your friends. That's not nice. Elmo! Anyway, that's all I got for you today. If you liked this, let me know. Give the video a like. Leave a comment if you want me to do more of these. I will also, in the pinned comment below, and in the description. Oh God, I'm so gassy. I will put a link to the Google form, so if you haven't submitted a secret or confession yet, please feel free to do so. I look forward to reading more of these. Again, if this is something that you want me to do more than once, subscribe. I make new videos whenever I feel like it. I noticed I just went through a subscriber purge again, so if you just want to take a quick look and make sure you haven't been unsubscribed, I would encourage you to do so if you enjoy being here. If not, well, good riddance, you motherfucker. Social media and my Patreon are linked down below. Also, my podcast with my friend Nayli, I'm Uncomfortable. We dropped a new podcast on Monday telling our drunk stories.
Like it was like the Hangover. It was like I fucking blacked out. I literally went from eating a cheeseburger with my brother, literally crying about how our father doesn't love us, and then I woke up in a field. And my cousin's like, dude, we need to get home. You should probably get up. And I'm like, well, how the fuck did I get here?
So check that out. That YouTube link is below. Our Spotify link is below. I think that's all I got. That was a lot of words. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I once decided to try and put a hotel shampoo bottle up my butt. Honestly, I don't know why. It got sucked up there and I had to spend 3 hours on my toilet pushing it back out. Luckily it did, and I didn't need to go to the emergency. Well, damn, that's good, because can you imagine being, especially now, like during COVID times, it would be forever until you got seen, you know? They would be doing like triage, and it'd be like, oh, those are all the potential COVID patients. Oh, those are people having heart attacks. Oh, that lady's having a baby. Oh, there's the person with the shampoo bottle up their butt. Y'all need to start thinking about consequences before you start doing things, okay? Imagine being the person in the emergency room with the shampoo bottle in their butt. It's not a good position to be in. But your hair will look great.